It's Thursday night and we are live with a Thursday night pint because West Ham are playing Leeds tomorrow and we're going to be talking about some topics today. Callum Wilson, a lot of rumours coming out that the reason Callum Wilson is not getting a look in is because David Sullivan is blocking him from playing because of the pay-as-you-play deal. Don't want to pay him no money. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Gary O'Neill's comments on Max Kilman that are pretty damning. Whoa! Popped in. He's just popped in out of nowhere. He's Gary O'Neill's damning comments on Max Kilman and what that means for the centre back and what we need to do going forward. And obviously, we're going to also look ahead to the Leeds game on Friday night, which is the reason why we're here tonight. Scott, God's sake, feels like it's been ages since I've seen you, mate. It's good to have you back.
I've been AWOL, mate. I've been AWOL, haven't I? So I do apologise. I am going to flit in and out for a little while now, but yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Do you know what? I was just thinking about this, right? This is the one time that I'm happy that we have the OK Jerseys logo over the Friday bit because I haven't had to worry about changing it to Thursday. That could say Thursday behind there, so it says the day night. So pretend it says Thursday behind the OK Jerseys, and I've changed it specifically. So it's Thursday night, it's Friday night on a Thursday. So yeah, good to have you both. Like I said, we're talking about this Wilson news. Nicky brought it up a little bit. Well, some suspicions, and we were sort of questioning it and wondering, is there a reason why he's not playing? Is it the pay as you play? And it's coming. The media are starting to question it now, and there's rumors and reports coming out that, you know, the reason why he's not getting a single minute under Nuno is because Sullivan wants to save money and he don't want to have to pay him out. You know, let's get Scott first because we ain't heard Scott's take on this. I know Scott's got a lot to say about it. I mean, what do you think about this, mate?
Mate, the thing is, you've seen the thing. I think X said about that. It's not the case. You know, it's not the case that they're trying to save money. It's the fact that the manager doesn't fancy him. And I find that absolutely hilarious. The fact that we've got one striker in the football club who scored a goal and the manager doesn't fancy him. The manager don't want to play him. You know, the manager would rather make 3 subs in the middle of a game and bring on 3 defenders when we're losing the game 1-0 to bring on a striker. You know, like I said, I weren't there for post-match pint, and I've never, ever in my life been so angry watching a football game. And that, for me, I've lost every ounce of respect for Nuno. Every ounce of respect. To leave a striker, whether he's fully fit or not, but to leave a striker with the ability that Callum Wilson's got on the bench when you're chasing a result, when you're trying to get a win, for who he brought on, and then bringing on a young kid, it's pathetic, mate. Absolutely pathetic. And listen, I've screamed this loads and loads of times. 5 managers doing exactly the same kickoff. What did we do as soon as we went a goal down? Pump it on to Souček, because it works under 5 different fucking managers, isn't it? So, yeah, look, if he doesn't fancy Wilson, then he just needs to jog on and go and find another job, mate, to be honest, because the guy's a fraud at the moment. A massive, massive fraud. And again, you know, I can't see us getting out of this and stuff. But yeah,
look, who's a fraud?
The manager. What? The manager's a fraud, mate. What manager comes in, right? What manager comes in, picks that 11? Yeah. Go on.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? What manager comes in and picks that 11?
That shocked me, that has, because that is shocked. That is completely shocked me. What the fuck are you talking about? I love you, Scott. I love you, but you got to explain some shit to me right now.
Right. Oh, yeah, so what manager in his right mind, right, comes in, in the situation that we're in, right? Yeah, we haven't been playing great. Players have got to take a lot of responsibility of that. But what manager comes in and picks a right back at left back and a left back at right back? What manager comes in and wants to play a centre midfielder that's nowhere near good enough Premier League level, hasn't started a game for West Ham, and puts him in the centre of midfield?
What manager comes into a Nottingham Forest team and takes them from relegation form into Europa League football?
I'm not a Nottingham Forest fan. I don't give a shit what he done at Nottingham Forest. I don't care. We're talking
Scott,
about now.
well, he's just got here, mate. He has just got here. Come on,
so
we can't.
He's just got here.
Listen, I know that was a weird fucking team selection, right? But he has just got here, mate. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Did you not watch that on Monday?
There must be a method to his madness. Like I said this the other day, right? Look, I'm not going to interrupt you, right? I'm going to just let you talk because I don't know. I agree with Paul Skinback, right? As good as his name is, this ain't the time to be trialing players, yeah. But to sit there already after 3 fucking games and sit there, he's got to go on and fucking go and find a new job. I'm fucking flabbergasted. I respect your opinion and I love your opinion and I love opinions, mate. But I've got to hear more.
Let's look at the 3 games, right? Let's look at the 3 games. Everton, yeah, Everton. Decent performance from the side, bottles it. Yeah, but absolutely bottles it. Right? We get an equaliser, we're 1-1, we're on top. What does he decide to do? Doesn't bring Callum Wilson on. The game's crying out for Callum Wilson. Fulcham's not doing it.
Okay. Right. So the discussion is whether or not that they're not paying him to save money, right?
Yep.
That's the discussion. Yeah. I think it's true.
But what manager allows that, Nick? When you're coming into a new job, yeah, you're coming into a new job, right? All the eyes are on you. Yeah, you're trying to get the fans on side with the team. You're trying to get things sorted, right? What manager allows the chairman to turn around and say, "You can't play that player"?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Yeah. So I agree with that. Maybe. I don't know the certain stuff, but I'm going to tell you. I think he's been told to leave him out. I think he's been told not available for selection.
So then who's picking the team, Nick?
And why is he on the bench?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's
he's on the bench.
Yeah, I think maybe there's conditions to it. Maybe it's like you can bring him on if you need 2 goals. I don't know. I think there's some legs to it. I really
but the
do.
thing is, if he's being told not to play,
the fact that they've come out and denied it makes me think that it's true.
Yeah, but I'm saying that doesn't excuse Nuno, right? And I'm not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't excuse Nuno. No,
I'm not as harsh on Nuno as Scott.
But
I'm somewhere in the middle. What? What do you want to say, Nick? What do you want to say? Come on.
What I'm trying to say, you don't know what the conditions are of him taking the job.
The conditions of him taking a job is basically put a team out against Everton that plays all right, and we could have nicked the game. Put a team out against Arsenal that just doesn't compete whatsoever, and then play everyone in random positions and pick a random starting 11 against Brentford.
Do you know what I think? Do you know where my theory is? My theory is if you don't start him, yeah, which I don't think he's fancying him for a start. If you don't start him, don't play him because he plays. They pay the same amount of money for him, whether he starts or not. He started.
Then why didn't he start him against Brentford? Because he started Paqueta up top. So
I don't know. I don't know the conditions, mate. I don't know.
No, we don't.
I've got. That's
you're making up conditions. You're making up conditions.
So are you? Because no one fucking knows the conditions.
No, I'm not. But you're saying that there are conditions. We're not saying there's conditions.
I'm telling you my theory.
We're not making up any conditions.
I'm telling you my theory. I'm just saying, like he might not fancy.
But you're saying we don't
hold
know
on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
You don't know there are conditions.
Just please stop. Right, I'm just saying maybe they are conditions. He might be fancying him to play against Leeds. If you listen to me and let me fucking finish what I'm actually saying before you butt in.
Oh, that's fucking rich coming from you. I got 5 words in and you butt in, you fucker.
All right, you discuss because I've obviously I'm trying to give you a discussion, but you keep butting in.
No, you're interrupting me.
I'm not interrupting you. I was talking.
Well, I know, but we don't want to give you usually the 10-minute monologue. Just your point, but counter. Scott was making his point, then you jumped in, then I tried to add and say, well, I'm in between, and then you come in, and then it went to you. So have your thing, and then I can give my rationale.
No, I'm just saying he might fancy him against Leeds.
Yeah,
He might
well,
he
that's
might think that he can't start the 2 games in a week because of the injury record, because of the fitness. Maybe that's his rationale.
okay. Well, that's bollocks, Nick. I'm
I think
sorry.
I,
That's not an
I,
excuse. Just wait a minute.
I'm
Because
just
I'm going to
I'm
tell you
not.
why you're talking
All right,
bollocks,
okay,
mate.
okay.
I fucking. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? 2 words an hour or what? Like I'm trying to
No.
give you a counterpoint.
No, well,
I think
you can tell me it's
that
bollocks. Just carry on. Just
I've got to tell
carry
you
on.
why it's bollocks. I'm challenging your point, so I've got to be
What's
able to
bollocks?
tell you why I disagree with you.
It's not a point. It's a theory. It's a
I
theory.
disagree with your theory. I've got to
How
tell
can you
you
disagree
why I
with a theory? It's
disagree.
a theory. It ain't the truth.
Well, so we could just fucking say anything. I think he got fucking,
Just
probed by aliens.
I'm desperate to say
Yeah.
something, and I want to get my point across. So I'm going to forget it in a minute. So Dan, hit us with it. Come on,
No, you say it, Scott, and God help me, please. Oh my God.
Nick. Right, I
Come on,
get what you're
Scott.
saying. Yeah, maybe you fancy him to start against Leeds, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, that game against Brentford was a 6-pointer. Right, whether you fancy him to start, I can understand that.
But
Right?
so
If he
is it,
starts against-
Scott. So is the one against Leeds. Let me just make that point before you go on, before I forget.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Leeds is a 6-pointer, right? But if he was to not have started him and then brought him on with 20, 30 minutes to go and then started him against Leeds, fantastic. Yeah, it's good. You're preserving the player. You don't think he's got the minutes in his legs to play 2 games in a week. The fact we're playing Monday and Friday is an absolute joke anyway. But yeah, I get your point, but you're 1-0 down, Nick. Yeah?
I know.
You've got him on the
I know.
bench. The team's terrible. And you make 3 subs and bring on 3 defenders.
So
You don't even just go to Skulls and Walker Peters swap and bring on Mavropanos to go 5 at the back and bring a striker on. You take, it's madness, absolute madness. It looked like you picked that team in the mirror
I do
and
agree
then
with
put
you,
it up
mate.
like that.
I do agree with you that it's madness, but I think 3 games in, it is a bit rich to be telling him to jog on and get another job. Like, well, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Yeah, we can't afford for him to jog on and get another job. We can't afford it, right? We can't. We can't afford it, right? If it's true, right? Because you've just said there, right, which totally negates my point, right? You've just said there, if he don't start him against Brentford, we'll go down and he brings him on. All well and good. We're half hour to go, but then he goes to Leeds and he starts him because he can't do this and he can't do that. That's all well and good, but what you're actually forgetting what I'm saying is the fact I think there might be something in it about his wages. I might be saying in it about using him right sparingly because of the amount of money he's costing the club, which is David Sullivan, right? So if he comes on for the last 10, 20 minutes, he still gets 95 grand as well as starting. He started against Palace. It didn't work out, right? He can't play a full game. So the deal that the club has made is a fucking awful deal. The fact that we've got another striker injured is a fucking awful deal, right? But the fact that they're coming out, Scott, and denying these rumours, right? If it wasn't true, right, and that was absolutely, they wouldn't even address it.
No,
There's something in it. I'm telling you, there's something in it.
There could well be, but the thing is, though, Nick, right, is that games against teams like Brentford, games against teams like Leeds, right, when you're sitting there, look, I sort of get not bringing them on against Arsenal. I sort of get that. We were never going to beat Arsenal, right? Never going to beat Arsenal. The fact we didn't even compete makes it 10 times worse, but we was never going to beat Arsenal. So I get that, right? And I get looking after the player due to his age, the injury record he's got, the fact that we've lost Fulkrug again, I get that. But at the end of the day, saving 95 grand for him appearing, the fact that he's going to play 2 games in a week, what does he get? 2 weeks' wages for playing in a week?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Right? But the
95 grand an appearance, Scott.
Okay, so 95 grand an appearance, right? So if he appears against Brentford, bangs in 2 goals, we win that 2-1. If he appears against Leeds, bangs in 2 goals, we win that 2-0, and we stay in the Premier League, by 6 points, the guy's just earned the millions and millions of pounds that you're going to be paying him in scoring 4 goals.
Do you know what I think? This is what I think. This is my theory, right? I think he was signed on the basis of he's doing his client a favour because he's a sort-out signing, right? And then so basically turned around and went to him, listen, you're going to get the odd appearance here and now, We've got Antonio and we've got Fulkrug that are going to play in front of you. Antonio obviously hasn't signed. He turned down a contract, right? Yeah. Fulkrug's now injured, which would mean we have to pay him £95,000 a fucking week, right? And I think that Sullivan's turned around and thought, fuck, like we're fucked now. Get Marshall going and see if you can get Marshall in there and scoring goals, because we can't afford to pay him. If we have to start paying him, there won't be no money for January. I reckon it's going to be something like that, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know what that fucking tight ass bastard is like. The fact that the man was on a radio station, right? Fucking sitting there and whinging and moaning about paying 150 grand to travel to a cup game because they've just won a fucking cup game, tells you everything you need to tell about a man who wants to fucking save money. Like when he said that, for me, he's saying I'd rather have gone out the cup than pay 100 grand to go to the cup game. Like that is the levels of fucking top, skinflintness that you're talking about here. So do not rule that out.
No, mate, I'm not ruling it out, because we all know what Sullivan's like. All three of us sitting here now would not put that past Sullivan, right? But what my thing is that we ain't in a position to scrimp and save.
No, we ain't. But I'm just saying, I think the message is coming from the top. Play Marshall, don't play him. If you're going to bring someone off a sub, play Marshall, don't play him. The other one kept on playing him. He's lost his job. If you do it, you're going to lose your job.
But play Marshall, right? I get that. The other decisions, Nick. The other decisions.
Yeah. They were ridiculous decisions. They was ridiculous decisions. Yeah, they was ridiculous decisions. But it's one decision. Let's go forward. Let's see what he does going forward. He might have made a mistake. He might have thought there was more to it than. Sorry, he might have thought there was something. A method to his madness, and it didn't work. So, but to be sitting here after 3 games and saying you got to jog on and go and get another job and all that. Listen, there's more going on in this club than fucking worry about what the manager's done for 1 game. Like we've given managers many games, mate.
Yeah. And the thing is, mate, he's got time to earn my respect back. But at this precise moment in time, what I sat there and watched on Monday,
it's pathetic.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, as I said to Dan before we come on, if I was there, I would have walked out. And I never walk out. If I was there, I would have walked out.
You shouldn't have gone in the fucking first place. That's what I would say.
Go on, Dan.
Fuck off, Scott. Fucking let me get my point on. I've got to say this before I forget. You just say everything I was going to fucking say.
Sorry.
So you guys have burnt yourselves out from running your mouths for fucking better part of 20 minutes. Nuno,
They're like a Grinch.
Yeah, I don't know what to fucking say. I couldn't get worded, and now you're like, we're had enough now. Over to you, mate. Say whatever.
No, we thought you wanted to talk.
They know how I feel.
I'll leave it. When I host, I started you off, Scott. I said, Scott, you start. You ain't been here. So yeah. Nuno
Let's ask the audience what they think. Is there something in the theory? Is there something in Scott's theory? Is Scott right? Is Dan right? Is Nicky right?
What do you mean if I'm right? I fucking ain't said nothing, you cheeky bastard. Fucking take the piss. Just start some comments and then read them out.
The thing is,
start some comments,
mate. I can't. My laptop's is propped up, so you guys got to do that. Listen, it's just I just don't understand anything at this football club anymore. I really don't. You know, the chairman's scrimping and saving money. The manager's being told who he can and can't play. Man, everything just reeks. It just reeks of relegation. This club reeks of relegation at this precise moment in time. You know, and as much as I don't want to see us go down, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. You know, it might force the hand of Sullivan to get out of the football club. But, you know, something's got to change. We can't just keep going. We've got 2 6-pointers and we've already been battered by Brentford and made them look like bloody Brazil.
I mean, that for me is the one. I mean, look, listen, what the manager done the other day was ridiculous. It was fucking ridiculous in terms of the starting lineup. The way he set up, it was fucking bizarre. You know, I have no idea what he was thinking. But as I said, there's got to be a method to his madness, and I haven't really heard of what he said. You know, and maybe I should have been listening to that. But there's got to be a method to his madness. There has got to be one. But you are right. You are totally 100% right. Everything stinks. Everything is falling down around us. And the fact that, and we keep on going back to it. And Dan was there when he said it. The fact that Sullivan's right-hand man, basically, or his stooge, as I like to call him, basically asked me if we really thought that this team could go down, and we said yes, and he was shocked. It makes you think what they think at the club, because it's obviously not something that they could seriously consider. You've got to look at the levels of performances from these people, and I've got to say this in terms of Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson is a class above this. You know, what we've got at the moment, Callum Wilson is a class above this. Somebody's Dan, do you want to start some comments?
Oh, that's what I thought you was doing.
No, sorry, mate, I'm talking.
Of course.
So in terms of what we've got available, and maybe it's a point where he doesn't want to rely on him because he knows he could go. Maybe he don't want to overplay him. Maybe he's scared to overplay him and what he's seen in training, his fitness. But I honestly think there is something to do with a money situation here. That's my opinion. It's not truth. It's not the fact or anything like that, right? But I've got a feeling the fact that they've addressed it makes me start to think that there's something in it, because why would you address it otherwise? You know, people are calling it a ridiculous rumor. It was first started by Adrian Durham. It's been carried on a little bit from it, and I think there's something in it. But and the fact the fact that the chairman, if that is true, and we'll never find out whether it's truly true or not, unless someone high up in the club or Callum Wilson himself comes out and tells you that is a fact, right? We'll never find out, really. If that is true from the chairman, it is another reason that this chairman needs to fucking leave, not just this football club, but football in general, because it ain't his fucking money. It ain't. He ain't put no money in this anymore. Everything that is running from the club's pocket. If we have to fucking sign a £500,000 a week player in January and get a FFP fucking deduction from it, make sure you win more than fucking 10 points from paying that. That is what they should be doing. It doesn't matter if they want to stay in the league. That is, as I said before to Dan, I think there's things going on behind the scenes where I think they are preparing for relegation. I think they are maybe pushing towards relegation, and they're doing things on purpose. But then I look at sacking Potter and paying out £20 million. Would they really have done that if they didn't? If they thought relegation would be better? It's confusing, and it's so confusing that it just reiterates the fact that these people cannot run a football club. They can't.
Yeah, no, mate, with you, honestly, absolutely, honestly, and said it's just I feel that we're sleepwalking into relegation at the minute, really, really are, and we'll see, But as I said, Nuno's got games to win my respect back, but at the minute he ain't doing a good job of it, and if that's true, as a manager, you've got to have some bollocks about it to tell the chairman to do one. He basically did that at Forest and lost his job. He should do it here, because otherwise, if you let that little guy boss you about the way he wants to, you've got no respect in yourself and no respect in your own ability. That's how I look at it. You've got to stand up to these people and turn around and say, listen, you've employed me to do a job and I want to do the job, and you're not telling me how and what way I'm going to do the job. But
this is a great comment. That's a great comment.
Yeah.
Listen, it is fucking grim at the minute. It is grim. It's not great, but as I said before, only time will tell. All of this stuff, it's all theories and all that sort of thing. It's one of them things what I heard, and you don't want to believe, but I'm just saying, it's the more I think about it, the more it makes fucking sense.
Not being funny, right? Whereas this one annoys me a little, right? stop being negative. There's 30 games to play. Yeah, there is 30 games to play. But where's the positives? Give me some positives to sit there and take from the new manager since he's come in. And then I'll start looking at positive, because out of all this lot, I'm the one that's the most positive. So give me some positives to sit here and say, stop being negative.
I think Dan's checked out for the evening. Look, he's just. It's gone.
It's honest. It's just tiring trying to get a word in. So I'm not gonna try.
Sorry. Go on, yeah.
Let's carry on and get a word in.
It's like this is every show. So I just let me just.
You invited me on. I was fucking happy going up to fucking India
I
to
know.
get food.
I know, and then you fucking come on and try to fucking dominate the fucking conversation.
Dan, give me some positive, son. Come on.
No, I don't have the point. Let's get the comments. Let's read. Let's see what the people have to say. I don't know why the fuck you start this when he's not. You start comments when they're not even talking to us; they're talking to each other, and you just star them. Shout out to Steve.
I didn't start.
I didn't start.
I did it by accident.
It's to Steve WHU Bell.
I can't see this side of my screen because the laptop screen's smashed.
Mark Hodgson. There's got to be an issue not to use him in any of the games since he's been there. Stupid choice to do this. Super Albsure says he doesn't want to rely on Wilson. He knows he's the best striker, but he's trying to find options early doors. He's probably only just realised he can't do fuck all about that, I think he's saying. Vince Sternal says we're talking like Wilson would have changed things. He wouldn't have. We created nothing, and that's down to our owners refusing to spend in the summer. We do struggle creatively. We keep signing literal losers, overpriced relegation players. Kai Gilbert, let's be real, lads, we're fucked. Scott Wilson, let's face facts. Our club is completely broken and completely fucked. Ibra Iniesta says, I think he needs to spend money and play Wilson. Marshall is shite. He will never be a Prem striker. Harsh.
Shut up, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. With all due respect, shut the fuck up.
It's his opinion. I feel as Scott does, says Kaz. Randy says the hope by Jan is we have to pray we get results into Jan, and we don't know how Salthouse and Sullivan versus Nuno and George Mendes dynamic will work, and the tension there in Jan could happen. Leeds are going to humiliate us tomorrow. Wouldn't surprise me if we go 3-0 down. Potter should be invoiced for Hermanson, Fernandez, for loaning out Alvarez, and if he had any say in the Wilson contract. RJ Middleton, you got that one. Give Nuno a chance.
Imagine invoicing Potter.
You should. Check out the boys, see who's worth the shirt. Give him a chance, he said. Checking him out to see he's worth it.
That's what he said, and I agree. And I said that on post-match pint. He's looking. It might not. The thing is, right? And we all say this, and we're all guilty of it, right? We all sit around and say, "Why don't he give this person a chance? Why don't he give that person a chance?" He might just be giving them a look, like. And I know, and you know, or I think, and you think, and Dan thinks, and Ryan thinks, it's not the time to be doing it. But maybe he thinks different. Maybe he thinks. Maybe that is the time. And I did say that the other day. Maybe he thought it was fucking clever. Why he's putting right backs at left backs and left backs at right backs, I don't know. But I'm just saying, maybe he's giving the boys a fucking look. I don't know what his method was there. And maybe he thought he could get away with it because Brentford have been shit. Brentford have been shit, right? And that's where you got to take the game by the scruff. It's a massive mistake. But there's got to be, he ain't just going to pick that team out of nowhere, is he? There's got to be a method to his madness.
There's a method to his madness, mate. The guy wants to go and look in the mirror and slap himself if that's the method to his madness. Because there is no justification on this planet to play a left back at right back and a right back at left back. Granted, if we ain't got a left back and you're playing an Wan-Bissaka or someone else who's a right back at left back, that's fine. Yeah, play Skulls.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand
this theory of looking at the players. Yeah, looking at the players. I can look at the players from where I'm sitting on a match day, from where I'm sitting here in this seat, and turn around and telling you, playing Surchek and Irvine in the centre of midfield together, ain't going to work in the National League, let alone in the Premier League. Yeah, there's no justification. You can't say, "Oh well, I'm giving the international players a rest."
I'm not justifying anything.
No, I'm
I
trying
don't
to justify
justify anything.
what people were saying. Nuno's thingy. Oh, we work with all these players during the international break. Why are you starting Paquetá? Why are you starting Souček, who played for their nations? Yeah, it's a load of bollocks. The geezer experimented and fucked up. And instead of standing up at the end of the game and turning around and going, do you know what? I got that absolutely shambolically wrong. I apologise to every single person out there. It ain't going to happen again. We're making excuses for him. At the end of the day, well, people out there are making. Oh, he's looking at the squad. He's looking at the players.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Just making
excuses.
excuses for him. It is excuses. This is why he picked the team. He's looking after the players. We had 2 days late. We played 2 days later than every other team in the Premier League. Well, a day later, but 2 days later than some of the others who had more internationals in their side than we do.
And then but let's say this, Scott. We then play 4 days before, 3 days before, because we playing Monday, Friday. I've never fucking known it. I've never known it. I don't remember a team that's played Monday, Friday. For 2 weekend games.
I totally agree with that. That's absolutely pathetic. The fact we're doing it, and the fact the Premier League have again allowed Sky to turn around and do that just shows there's nothing about the fans. There's no thingy about looking after the players either. It's just all about the dollar, yeah, which is all these people give a shit about, right? But then when you look at it, yeah, you've got a young kid in Potsy, right? Whether you think Potsy's good enough or not for the Premier League, Irvine isn't good enough for the Premier League. The guys are great. He's a great character. He's great in the dressing room. He turns up. He's one of the hardest working in training and things like that. Potts has been at the academy for God knows how long. Potts has got history with the club with his old man. Yeah, the kid's come on against Arsenal and held his own in a shit side. Yeah, but he still don't get a start. He still don't get. Oh, let me have a look at him from the start. Let me see how he is from the start.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. There we go.
There it is. There we go. That's that topic. Moving on to the next topic. Gary O'Neill has come out, as I alluded earlier, and he's made a very damning, in my opinion, statement about Max Kilman. Our centre back, obviously, he managed Max Kilman at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this is what he said. He said, we did a lot of work with Max, a lot of work. He's probably not found his best form yet this season. At Wolves, we did a lot of work with him on not switching off the engine. We used to speak to him because he's big and he looks for a rest a lot, Max. So he'll be involved in the game. And if he gets a moment to switch the engine off, he'll take it. I've been watching him a bit recently. I'm sure Nuno will drill it back into him around. Don't rely on your physical attributes. Don't rely on your pace and physicality. Make sure you're always ready and switched on. West Ham need to improve defensively, and Max has definitely got some improvements in him again this year to help West Ham get where they need to go. Now, that to me is a damning indictment, because what that speaks to is the fact that he's a lazy bastard. That when he's saying he looks for moments to switch the engine off, it's like the ball's up the other end, so I can just chill. I can relax, take my eyes off the ball. And, if the ball comes down this way, then I'll switch on. We've seen it time and time again, the goal against Brentford, even the offside goal, constant ball over the top. He's relaxed. And that's why the teams are going direct against us, because they can see it. Can see he's switched off. Then all of a sudden now, because he's not alert, because he's not on his toes, he's caught out time and time again. And this is the issue with Max Kilman. I saw him early on, and I think there's a talent there, but £40 million, the money that he's probably on, for him to do that is disgusting. It's a slap in the face, and there's no excuse. And this is the guy that many fans wanted to come and take the armband game week 1, Scott, and many others. Game week 1, this would have been our cap. For what anyone says about Jared Bowen, Jared Bowen gives 100% every game. He leads by example. And because he was the captain at Wolves, he must be a good captain. That is absolutely disgusting. And as long as he does that, he should be dropped. Get Igor on until this lazy fucker learns to switch on and give 90 minutes of pure effort. I don't want to see him in a West Ham shirt again. The fact that Gary O'Neill was pointing this out, but Nuno, I'll give him the benefit of doubt early doors. But if he does keep seeing it, he needs to drop him. But Potter didn't drop him. You cannot have a centre back allowed to. That's why we're so shit in defence. Because you got lazy fuckers like that. You got a lazy fucker in Kilman, and you got a lazy fucker in Todibo. And while we've got that, and they cost over £70 million, and they've got all the talent in the world and none of the application, and they can't be asked. And that is a sad indictment of where we are as a football club and why we where we are. Because you've got players that just don't give a shit.
And does that sit there and go back? Because did you see what Walker Peters put out on social media?
No, what did he say?
About a lack of leadership, and he got took down.
Oh shit!
You know, and this is the thing. You know, you sit there and look at that, and like you're saying, you know, you've got a centre back who's has a 40 million price tag, who was a captain of a football club that he was at previously, and you're saying he's got concentration problems. You know, this is a big issue. This is a big issue that, okay, if you sit there and notice that he's got concentration options, you come up with ways to make sure he is concentrating, make sure he is switched on. But
Can I just put this one up?
Go on.
Nuno had him at Wolves too, so Nuno would know him.
Well, yeah, Nuno know him. He had him at Wolves. I think he might have brought him through at Wolves. I think he was a young player, so I don't think he was in, week out, but he would know him. Yeah.
So with keeping him switched on and things like that, right? Do you then point the finger a little bit at the goalkeeper? Because a goalkeeper is overseeing the entire game. You know, the goalkeeper is the only player really that has the entire game in front of him, right? So, do we need a goalkeeper now that's more of a leader?
No, mate, it should not take a goalkeeper to tell this fucker, don't switch off, don't take your after ball because you think you can. And it's not that it's a lack of concentration. Gary O'Neill said that. He purposely switches the engine off because he feels that his attributes will allow him to make up for it, to compensate.
Brother thinks he can do the stop-start like your car does when you stop at the traffic light.
He relaxes and conserves energy.
Listen, I'll tell you where I am with any player like that. Yeah. I think when you look around at what we've signed, I think there's a lot of players we haven't done our due diligence on, like in terms of attitude and all that sort of thing. There seem to be players just fucking doing what they wanted. Like, I think Kilman's one of them. He's obviously not the captain and the leader that they thought he was going to be. I think Todibo's one of them. There's been many reports of him fucking falling out with people and the attitude's wrong. And, you know, and I've got to say this, and I'm going to say this from a fan's point of view. And obviously I don't know the ins and outs of inside the football club, but every time I look at him, he gets worse. So I don't think he's doing anything in training. And he looks to get fatter as well, if I'm honest with you. And there was reports of him, Todibo, when he first came through, that he was overweight and things like that. Is you know, that is a lack of discipline. You know, whatever way you want to see it. Like, as a professional footballer, if you come back from your holidays and you start with a brand new club and you're overweight and you can't play for 3 months, that is a lack of discipline. Like, and somebody made a great point the other day about Kilman. The other day against Kilman, they said that when every time the camera pans him on Sky, he's never talking. Like, you look at people like John Terry when he was leading and Rio Ferdinand, every time the camera would pan to him, they'd be saying something to someone or they'd be repositioning this. They'll always be talking, right? And they said when it pans to him, he's never saying a word. He's never, like, it's laziness. And I can't support footballers, right? I can support all sorts of footballers for all sorts of things, right? But I cannot support a footballer who cannot and will not play for 45 minutes without losing concentration and without switching off. I can't do it because it's 45 minutes, right? It's 45 minutes, and you get a 15-minute break, then you play another 45 minutes. When you see men out in the street working for 8 hours and they don't get breaks for 6 of them, yeah, it makes me feel fucking. And if they lose concentration, people lose their lives. It makes me feel sick to the stomach. players like that who earn that amount of money and cannot fucking work as hard as you can for 45 minutes at a time. It makes me feel fucking ill, to be quite honest with you. Makes me sick.
He's on 100 grand a week. 100 grand a week. 5.2 million pounds a year. And the geezer cannot stay switched on, cannot make sure that he's concentrating for 40, like you said, 45 minutes. Then you get a break. You get a little break. So he's switching, like you said, switching the engine. So he's just standing, he's relaxing, conserving energy because he's a lazy fucker. And that's why he's being as shit as he is. And 10 Men at the Back says Connor Cody was the captain of Wolves. I'm pretty sure that Connor Cody left and then Kilman took the armband because Connor Cody left before we signed Kilman. But it's at this stage, obviously Mavropanos is out, which is a big shame because he's been our best. Because whatever you think about Mavropanos, he will put an effort in. He may not be the most talented.
No,
but
let's be honest. Out of all the defenders centre half that we've got, he's shown the most character this season.
Yeah,
you know, he has stepped up to the plate. Look, we all know he's got a mistake in him, but he looks a better centre half this season than he did last season. And now we've lost him.
Yeah,
you know,
and now all we've got left is overweight, lazy Todibo, lazy Kilman, and an untested, unproven Igor. You know, and this is why we have to get to January. And someone alluded to it that we'll get to that comment that Sky are done it. But I mean, I disagree with El Chico. What he's saying, it's an excuse. Kilman gives his all, and he's all his dog shit. It's not a lack of effort. He's just shite. Look, you can agree maybe he's not good enough, but I don't think Gary O'Neill is going to make up a story about having to coach him into not switching his engine off. And you can see that he's doing it. Like you can see it. That's the case. I don't think he's shit. He's been shit. I think there's a decent. I don't think he's a 40 million pound defender.
No.
But I think a lot of his issues could be solved with some application and fucking effort.
Yeah, that's it, mate. He's not awful. He's just not playing nowhere near as good as what he can do.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but part of that is down to lack of effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Drano says put a shock collar on him. And fucking switch off.
That's a bad idea.
Could you imagine? Give that to the fans. And we fucking go mad on it. Yeah, honestly, Kilman has needed dropped for ages. Give that Igor bloke a game. He's left-footed and Brazilian, so maybe his passing isn't terrible. That is the thing with Kilman as well. He hasn't really been dropped. Like he's been that one defender that is consistently played, and the other player has been rotated between Todibo and Mavropanos and that, and it's just been him. So it's not even like he gets to kick up the arse. Like he knows he's going to play every week, no matter how much fucking effort he puts in, and that's not good enough. And the worry is that Nuno now obviously knows him, and he's going to have a bit of favoritism there because he brought him through. That's the worry for me. But you players can't be undroppable, especially at that level when you're not the superstar in the team. You're not Bowen.
Dan, you got a fan in the thing.
He Mr. Whopper, he fucking loves me. He absolutely loves me, Mr. Whopper.
He started. Mr. Whopper is a Whopper. He's got the right name. He's a fucking massive Whopper.
He's a massive Whopper.
Hawaiian Hammer says a shot collar is no good at London Stadium. No Wi-Fi. Do you know what? I'm going to give him a due. We've got some of the best Wi-Fi in the Premier League, mate.
It has improved. It was shit before, but it was
shit. Yeah, he's got some of the best Wi-Fi in the Premier League.
Melissa says Max Kilman is shit, Dan. He needs to go. The problem is we need to. It's mad. The state of our centre backs situation is so bad. We were spoiled for centre backs at one point at this club. Now,
but again, Dan, centre backs is a very odd position. You've got to get centre backs that complement each other, and to be left with these three centre backs is again, it's the club not doing their recruitment well. They're not looking at what they're buying. They're looking at the names they're buying, and they're hoping they'll fit together. You know, it's the recruitment for these things are poor. Like you centre backs have to complement each other. They have to. You have to have either matching styles or complementing styles and all that. Kilman and Tadibo are both the same fucking player. We thought it was bad when we had one Issa Diop. Now we've got fucking two of them sitting in the centre of our defence, and we're fucked. And they don't give a shit. That's the problem. They don't give a shit. They don't see it as their problem. They see it as someone else's problem to sort out. Shouldn't have bought us in. You know, it's poor. It's poor. It's shit. The recruitment at West Ham is shit. It is throw a load of shit at a wall and let whatever sticks we'll take. Absolute fucking diabolical. The people at that club they're a shambles. They're a shambles. Some of them should be ashamed to be taking their fucking wages, if I'm quite honest with you, and that includes the players.
Well, that's especially the fucking players, especially the players.
No, do you know what? Especially players then. But you got to say, people that thought they was good people to be signing them, like the people that have given the scouting reports and things like that, and said that they'd be a good signing and they'd fit in. But these people all need fucking sacking.
Well, are they employed? Who are these people? They're agents. Who the fuck?
Yeah, no, you get like there's people working internally in the club that they are advisors and things when they go and watch them.
But this again looks at the lack of vision in the football club. You know, when you sit and saying that these players have been advised, these players have been brought in and all that. We've had 3 managers since these players have been brought in. You know, and this is the problem. This is where again you've got that lack of vision, where you've got a lack of a model, where you're sitting there and not basing your recruitment around a model of football that you're trying to build. We see the likes of Brighton. We see the likes of Bournemouth. Bournemouth changed their entire back line practically, sold off their entire back line. And when they've got players, like you said, complement each other.
Yeah, they fit.
You know, now they're flying. Yeah. And this is the thing. The other thing as well, that the problem, then you've got to look at partly the coaching and partly the players. We're the second worst team in the Premier League for sprints. Surprisingly, underneath us is Everton. When David Moyes first took over us, we were down that low again, and he chucked us up the top. But that tells you there that the players are not working hard enough.
It's just everything that happens with the football club. I think it's just the perfect storm for disaster. It is. Yeah. It is a perfect storm. The players ain't got the attitude. They haven't been recruited right. The stadium gives us no advantage, so there's no fans getting behind them to drive them on. The chairman, people are upset with the chairman. Everything is just, I think, it's just coming on top all at once. And I think unless we do something drastic, and there's got to be a massive shift of attitude in some of the players to get us anywhere near it. Because at the moment, I can't see where points are coming from. I can't see it. You know what I mean? That one at Forest it seems like a fluke now. You know what I mean? And when I went there to Forest, I thought it looked bad before, but then I thought, maybe we'll have a bit of, even picking up things like draws against Brentford. It's not necessarily that losing to Brentford beating Brentford that we needed to do. What we need to do is not let them get away from us. You know what I mean? And hope that they can be as poor as us. But it's letting them beat us, which then pulls them away from us, pulls them out of our reach. And that's the thing.
And this is what I said before, where we're going to be cut adrift. Lose to Leeds, we're cut adrift. We're already 3 points behind the teams above us with a worse goal difference. Lose again, and them teams pick up points. You ain't climbing out of this. Even if you don't get to January winning the 6 pointers, then you might as well go out in January and buy a load of Championship players, because you ain't. Well, to be fair, they'll probably do better than what we got.
Sam Stonex says, would you sell Paqueta in January and rebuild the midfield? Would I rebuild it? No, I probably wouldn't rebuild it, but I'd probably sell him if we could buy one player. Scott, what's the point in having him? What's the point?
Do you think it's mad to sell Paqueta, Scott?
I wouldn't sell Paqueta in January.
Oh, in January. Well, it depends what we could get. I wouldn't just sell him, but if there was a quality player in there that we could bring in that we could rely on.
Good money.
They have to be big money.
Yeah, but the thing is, mate, we're in a relegation battle, so we can't just sell someone on a whim without having proven quality coming in the other way. Otherwise, that's just shooting ourselves in the foot. Like, we need to strengthen in January.
I think
I get why you want to sell. He's not been good enough, but
I think this is a very good. I don't know about Chilwell because I like Diouf, but I would buy Tony and Traore. I would.
Yeah,
Tony,
Chilwell's a bit.
listen, Tony, I completely understand, right? But you turned down Chilwell, but signed Traore.
Yeah.
Well, Chilwell's injury.
I think Chilwell's finished, mate.
Chilwell's stats are a lot better than Traore's.
Yeah, but what
I don't know if Traore is.
The stat that matters is how many games is he fit for? That's the stat I care about.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's gone to Strasbourg or somewhere like that. I think someone said in the comments. So it'd be interesting to see what his stats are. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have Chilwell over Traore.
They don't even play in the same position, Scott.
No, yeah.
They don't, but I'm just saying that's what I'd rather pick.
I'd take Traore. I think we could make something out of Traore. I've always thought we could make something out of Traore.
The manager, obviously, he's a big part of how the manager wants to play. He's desperate to reunite with him. He really wanted him at Forest, and that was part of the reason he fell out with the ownership there and Edu, because he didn't get Traore. And listen, Scott, I get completely why you feel how you feel about Traore. I'm not saying that you're wrong and he's this world-beaten player. I just think that he
suits his style.
He fits. His finishing is atrocious, but when you think about it, he shouldn't really be a starter. He's a bench battering ram because Bowen is going to start there, and you bring him off the bench against tired legs, mate.
Yeah, the thing is, he occupies defenders. He worries defenders.
Yeah.
You know, a lot like Antonio. Yeah, a lot like Antonio, but his finishing and his stats are, the assist stats are not very great. And I do get that, mate. But I don't know about you. Like, when you look at, I know I'm going back off track and going back to the game on Monday. Every time we're running at teams, we get the ball and run at teams. Like Somerville was probably the shining star of that game. But every time he picked up the ball, he's having to run at players from his own half. Because we're so deep and so deep lying. When you've got players like Traore, if you're going to go out and sign a player like that, again, you've got to be playing higher up the pitch. You're asking a lot for a player with that amount of pace. And don't get me wrong, he's got great pace and he will cause defenders problems. It's just the stats that do me. You're asking them to do it from their own half. You've got to be higher up the pitch to do it. You've got to play higher up the pitch to suit. And this is the issue for me. It's just the negative attitude and stuff like that. At the end of the day, Chilwell coming in, it would be a good signing. Traore, listen, the way we are at the minute, as much as I don't like him, he will probably add something to what we've got. And Tony, the guy knows where the goal is. But again, Tony's getting a bit older. You've got to play higher up the pitch.
Listen, this is all well and good, but it's whether we can afford them or not, right?
Well, mate, we've got to get to January. This is the thing now, right? Leeds is a massive, massive, massive game. Massive game. There's no
some tough game coming up after this one, mate. We need to find something from somewhere.
We need a win. We need to beat Leeds.
We need a win.
There's no disrespect to Leeds, but we need to be beating Leeds, because if we don't, we are in big shit.
We're getting more adrift. This is the thing, because we lose or draw even this game tomorrow, then Burnley win their game, then I think we're like 6 points off, are we? We are. Yeah, we're 3 points behind Burnley. Yeah. So if Leeds win, we are then 7 points off Leeds. And if Burnley win, we're 6 points off them. So we're 6 points away from safety.
The thing is, 6 points in football is nothing. It's nothing. No, but it's an eternity when you can't win.
Yeah, when you're shit.
You know what I mean? It's for a team like, let's say, for instance, Liverpool chasing Arsenal. 6 points ain't a lot. It's not a lot. No, you know what I mean? Like, one win, one loss, and they're back to when you can't win games. Fucking 6 points is a fucking lot of points.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, Nick, as well, when you don't even look like you can win games. That's the worry. It's not that we can't win games. We don't even look like we can win. We don't at the moment. The last 2 games, we don't even look like we can compete for 90 minutes in a football match.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And again, where has that gone from Everton? A game where we competed for the whole 90 minutes. We were always in that game. Where has that gone?
Mate, let's. I mean, the Arsenal game's an atrocity, abomination. Really, what can you do against them? And he didn't pick anything like the team against Everton. Let's see what we go to with Leeds. That's what I would say, boys. Would you mind if I stepped out because I'm very tired? I've got to go to Leeds tomorrow, and I've got to come back Saturday. If you want to carry on, please feel free.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, and maybe Dan will cheer up a little bit if I go.
Maybe I'll get able to get a word in.
Yeah, maybe you get a word in, but would you mind?
Go on,
No,
go
on,
for it, mate.
go.
Thank you very much,
You're good.
guys. Peace
See you
out.
later, mate.
8 pound down.
Bye-bye.
There we go, Nicky. Thanks for coming, and we'll preview we'll get into a little bit more of the Leeds game before we end the game. I don't know what to do with all this talking I can do now. What do I say? Where do I begin to speak? Yeah, I mean, like we was just touching on, it's huge. We go into this game and it's going to be a very tough game. And what I wanted, one of the things I wanted to say earlier, to sit there and say, oh, we could just walk over Brentford and it's Leeds, it's the big game. Like, every game matters. Every game, play your best team. Get the 3 points. Do what you have to do to win.
Yeah,
that's what we have to do. We can't sit there and start going like, well, if we can afford to put a shit team out and really go strong again, you can't do that. Just win what's in front of you.
The thing is, Dan, right, is that as well as I do, other teams in similar situations to us go and get results against that they're not expecting. We used to do it. Yeah, we would a team that would be. Yeah, we were the team that be sitting there third from bottom, absolutely crap. Go and play the team that's sitting top of the league, unbeaten in 10 games, and we go and beat them 1-0. We did with Arsenal last season. No one expected we're going to beat them 1-0. Where's that gone? Where is that? Where's that fight? Where is that thing? There is no fight. There is no fight whatsoever in this side at this precise moment in time from what I'm seeing. And I don't think the gaffer's helped. I really don't think the gaffer's helped because of what he did the other day.
No, he deserves criticism for it. And, and I like Nuno a lot and I'm behind him, all of that. But when a manager gets it wrong, just because it's the early stages, don't mean you have to baby him and make excuses for him. Like, it was a player. Put in a shit performance, you get called out. And he had a chance to see what he did wrong and correct it. And he made it worse. So... Yeah. You got to we would have roasted Potter for that. We wouldn't have said there's method to his madness or any of this. Lopetegui would have got roasted. We'd have roasted him. So Nuno deserves it.
Listen, David Moyes.
I'm Nuno out.
He would have been. People would have been out to lynch him, And he's a trophy-winning manager for us. This is the thing. You can't. So I said what I said at the start, mate. Listen, he's got plenty of games now to convince me otherwise, right? Plenty of games to convince me otherwise. But, listen, Dan, you know me, I'm always positive. I sit on the fence. At this moment in time, I can't sit on the fence.
Yeah. So, like I said, thing is, Leeds, I've seen a lot of fans, Leeds fans, very pessimistic about this game and feeling like, yep, West Ham's going to get their first win. I've watched quite a bit of Leeds and they've been good. They've been good. They have everything that we don't have. But what they do have that we have is the bad end product. But the problem is they actually create. They just can't put the ball in the back of it. They can't finish, and they have bad decision making.
Dan, let's be honest. Brentford had the bad end product. How they weren't 5-0 up at half time, I don't know. This
is the thing, mate. Because when you look at it, we gave so many chances away. They're 22 shots. So Leeds, and I did a couple of Leeds channel previews.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing with Leeds. There's games coming away and you think, how the hell didn't they win this? But you give a team that many chances, eventually they're just going to stick one in the back of the net. It has to. Eventually they find the back of the net and they start to get bolder and bolder. And with us, you know, we're going to try and obviously hit them on the counter. We're going to soak up pressure and let them have a go. But, you know, at the end of the day, what can we do on the counter? Can we hurt them? Can we give something to think about?
But the thing is, though, Dan, you say soak up pressure and all that. Yeah, you soak up pressure and you make them cross the ball into the box. You make them shoot from distance, right? Case in point, the other season when we beat Chelsea, when we beat Brighton, in them 2 games where we literally got peppered. Yeah, a lot of the shots in the Brighton game were from outside the box because we were resilient. We played that low block. You know, we were resilient. We're not resilient. You know, it's not like Brentford had to work hard for the chances that they got. We made it easy for them. You know, the starting 11 made it simple for them. You know, it was, as I said when we were, you know, when I was chatting on the group chat, players were looking lost. Players were wandering around, didn't know where they were meant to be, didn't know, you know, the left and right back who were playing on the opposite sides and naturally drifting to their natural foot. So we're playing so narrow. You know, we can't defend crosses, but we're playing narrow. You know, there's so many things other than just the starting 11 that weren't right in that side, in that performance, that you have to look at the manager for.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the thing. Leeds have got a good home record. You know, a very, very good home record. They're a decent side. You know, they've, like you said, they show fight. They show a bit of character.
Yeah, I think the only time they've actually conceded at home was in that Spurs game. I think that's the only game they actually conceded. So this is what I'm saying. Like, while they're not the best in terms of scoring goals, like defensively, they are miles better than us. I mean, so they've scored 7, conceded 13, right? West Ham have scored 6, conceded 18.
And 3 of them come in one game.
Yeah.
Got to remember that. 3 of them come in one game, mate. That's
mad. 3. Yeah. So for how many played? 8, right? We played 8. That means in 7 games we've scored 3 goals. So it really shows you we got the worst goal difference in the league. -12. It honestly, it just goes to show you, mate, how fucking awful we are. So they've got a better defense. They've right now got a better midfield. Yeah. I think we have the better attack on paper in terms of, if I put our attack against theirs, the players that we've got, the match winners, I put ours over theirs. Like, I look at players like Aronson, they've got on the right-hand side, who a lot of stuff goes through him. The problem with him is he's very industrious and can get the ball up, but he's afraid to take players on. I see it the other day. He'll run with the ball. As soon as he bumps into a player, he'll pass it backwards. Or he'll get up there and make the wrong decision, or trip over and lose the ball, or run into a brick wall. So he shouldn't be that hard to defend against. You know, you got Diouf going against him. That's something I think that we can be a little bit confident about. But it's the midfield and the defence. That's the issue.
The thing is, Dan, is you look at your players like Diouf, right, and you look at the starting 11 against Brentford, right, and he played Scholes at right and Walker Peters at left, yeah. So you're already nullifying the fact that you're not going to throw crosses into the box, right? Because you've not got a natural-footed player to swing a ball in. Which, with the attack that we had out there, there's not much point because they're not that great in the air. Unless you've got Souček making late runs into the box, it's not going to happen. If he doesn't start a striker and we go with a false 9 again, Diouf's biggest asset is putting the ball into the box. You know, his crossing ability, that is one of the best attributes of that player. Getting him forward, you've got to have someone in the box that's going to compete for headers. You know, to give Diouf the best chance. You know, as I said, with Somerville, we need to play higher up the pitch. We can't be playing Somerville picked up the ball so many times in our half, on the edge of our half, and run at players and cause people problems. Yeah, he caused Brentford's defence so many problems. but the end product wasn't there. There wasn't a player to pass to because we were so deep. Everyone was so far behind him. He got crowded out. There's no press. And this is you're going up against Leeds, like I said, who've got a pretty decent defensive record at home, and you've got to be pressing them. You've got to be putting it on them. You've got to silence the fans. That opening 20 minutes for me on Friday is the biggest opening 20 minutes of this season because we have got to have a go at Leeds. We can't sit back and let them come at us because we will just keep retreating.
But he will.
Yeah, he will.
I guarantee
we'll be like tortoise, mate, getting deeper and deeper in the shell because we're under attack.
I guarantee he's going to sit deep and play on the wrong hole. I guarantee it, mate. I guarantee it. He's going to do that.
But the thing is, if we're going to do that, then play the right players. Play. I'll be honest. I think we're that bad at the moment. We need to go back to an old-fashioned 4-4-2. Yeah. Because the players, we haven't got the players to play this three-man midfield.
Mate, right? We've been saying about this 4-4-2 for years, and no manager does it. No, they just don't do it.
But you've got an opportunity there. You can start a Callum Wilson with a young Marshall. You can play Bowen out on the right and still get forward. You've still got that back four that you're using. So as long as you get that balance in with the midfield too, right? It would work.
Yeah.
But mate, we ain't gonna see it. We ain't gonna see it. It's gonna be the same old. If not, it'll be a 4-1-4-1, something like that. But we've got to have a striker. We can't go into Leeds without playing a false nine. Or if we are going to play a false nine, then let it be Souček and then just get the ball out wide and swing the crosses in. Give the guy a chance. But no, listen, 4-4-2, mate.
4-4-2. Let's talk about the 11. Then we'll play. Before that, there's been a lot of comments about the shirt I'm wearing. State of that jersey that Dan's wearing. Melissa, I love your Japan shirt, Dan. Very nice. Divisive, controversial, I would say. But again, this brings me a time we have to thank our sponsor, OK Jerseys, where I got this beautiful number. And Scott as well. Scott got his I Made in West Ham shirt. I got my One Piece special edition Japan shirt. So I got it more for the character on the front. It's a series that I'm very, very fond of. And I like the shirt. I like Larry shirts. I just like Larry football shirts. And it don't get more Larry than this. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But there's a few more of these editions that I'm going to get on there. And yes, I bought out my own money. I see it. I was like, I got to have that. I got to get that, mate. Like, this is a player edition as well. Like you get the fan, the normal one, and this is the super duper one the football players wear. So it's got all the fucking shirt technology or whatever the fuck they call it.
Is that helping with a weight loss challenge, Dan? Is that what it's about? That's why you got it.
Yeah, mate. I'm be wearing this in the gym and that. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what? People, thankfully, I can only wear this when I'm like on here because you don't see under there, so you don't see like the
bit too tight.
It's still a bit too tight. This is a large here, but because it's a player edition, it comes up a little bit tighter. But I like it. Guys like the stream so Dan can get another shirt he needs so bad. I would like the whole collection. I got One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. If you're into all of that, like I am, I'm a massive nerd about it. Then they've got it. It's brilliant. But not just, obviously, Scott's got an Iron Maiden West Ham shirt. I think he's got two from there now. And it looks good on you, mate. I like that.
Did you know what? I like this one. It's pretty decent.
It's based off the 2000, 2001, I think, era West Ham shirt. But like I said, you get crazy international shirts, retro. You get like new kits. You get retro West Ham, whatever your team. I know we got some Leicester, you got non-West Ham fans. Go check it out. Code Nicky at checkout. Yeah, look, the man, he loves the sound of his own voice, loves his name as the code. So Code Nick, you get 8% off. And yeah, mate, I'm just gonna get Christmas coming up as well. So get your presents in there. But it takes about, I want to say about just over a week for the delivery to come. But 15 quid a shirt, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, honestly. That's without the 8% off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get back on it. But yeah, a few people ask, still going to the gym. Yeah, we're still doing the weight loss challenge, me and Jace. So we've been posting that on the members, just the weigh-ins and that. And well done to you and Jace, both looking good with the weight loss. Yeah, fingers crossed. So far, I'm nearly at the 1 stone mark, and Jace is past that.
Good going, mate. Good going.
So yeah, mate, it's got to be done. So I thought, let me just do it on the membership so they can keep us accountable. I've got to be accountable to someone. And by the entire Jazzy the shirts company. Yeah, I'm just gonna go buy some mad shit, like some mad ones. But yeah, I don't know how are you more a conservative shirt, or do you like the mad ones from the 90s and all that, all the Larry ones?
I don't mind it. My choice of the shirts is that, I prefer the plain, normal, boring ones, to be honest. But it's very much, if it's a nice shirt, it's a nice shirt,
Yeah, that's what I like. It. You got like the flames, you got Roanoa Zorro there, sort of, with his honing his power, and so it's the green and the orange, and it feels this badge. I can't stop rubbing it. It feels fucking nice.
There's a lot going on in that shirt, but I get it because of the style and type of thingy that it is. So yeah.
Yeah. They got some good ones, mate. So go and check it out. I love your Iron Maiden shirt, Scott. I love it, Scott, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that is a good one. So yeah, look, starting at 11. This one is bloody hard. Bloody hard. Well, it's not hard. I mean, it shouldn't be hard, but I've lost a lot of faith in all of these. We've got a Leeds fan in the house. How are you feeling about the game, mate? Okay, jerseys do Leeds shirts as well. Let's see. We've got a few people have put theirs in. You can put yours in. You can't stop rubbing what? The badge, mate. The badge. I can't stop rubbing the badge. Jake, Jake's in the chat. He says Leeds will win 2-1. Our fan cam bodyguard.
Yeah. It's annoying, mate, because I can see that. I don't want to, don't want to say it, but I can see it. But no, listen, starting 11s, it's difficult. It's difficult. Losing Mavropanos to that injury is a big blow, especially at the back. You've got to start Areola. He's thinking Wan-Bissaka's got to come back in. I thought he did all right when he come on. Diouf's got to come back in on the left without foul. What do you do with a centre-back pairing? Do you risk bringing Igor in, whose heading stats are absolutely awful? I don't know a lot about Leeds, so it's hard to turn around and say, with Igor giving him the opportunity. But the fact he's not played, and the fact that, or I understand from the stats of his aerial dominance ain't very good. If Leeds have got anything in the air, then obviously he can't play. But can we really afford to play Todibo and Kilman together again? This is the worry. But for me, I think you can't risk playing Igor with Todibo. But then Igor's left-sided, Kilman's left-sided. So what do you do? So I don't know. I think personally, I'd stick with the Kilman Todibo back line. He's not going to play a 4-4-2, so it is still going to be a very similar situation. So you want to be looking probably then to play a holding midfielder. So for me, I put Potsy in. I'll give Potsy a go.
Mate, he brought Rodriguez off the bench ahead of him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and again, as I said in the summer, we're openly trying to sell the guy, and we're still playing him. And we I know it's a different manager now, but Potts held his head up and he done quite well in pre-season. I know pre-season's not a lot to go by, but is Potts starting a game going to do any worse than what we've seen this season?
No, he can't.
Right?
He can't do.
So, yeah, I'll put him in there. Then Somerville on the left, Bowen on the right, Fernandez and Paquetá as your midfield too. So it makes Potts, Paquetá, and thingy. Potts, Paquetá, and Fernandez is the three in the midfield if you're playing like that. And then you've got to start Callum Wilson. You cannot not start Callum Wilson in this game. Unless you're going to go. I see people putting there saying about Souček up top. Listen, if we're that desperate, stick him up top. But we need balance. We need players that are going to work for each other, and we need to strengthen up that midfield massively. And I just think bring Potts in. He ain't going to do any worse than what we've seen. Give the kid a chance, but give him a chance in an 11 that's going to compete.
Yeah. No, you're right. The thing is, and someone sort of said it earlier that, Wilson wouldn't have been able to do anything. Let me just answer this. You type in just Japan shirts or Japan anime or Japan One Piece in the OK Jersey shirt search, add it to your thing. Don't forget, some people had trouble with the code Nikki, but it worked for me. But yeah, like some people were saying about like, oh, we weren't creating for him, so we would have struggled. The thing is, if you have Diouf on the pitch, whose crossing is excellent, you have that partnership of Diouf and Somerville that we see work so well and run Everton ragged. And then you have Wilson. He's going to feast off those crosses. Like, and when you have someone like two teams that struggle in front of goal, they've got Calvert-Lewin in there. And I remember I said, and I'm pretty sure you agreed, Scott, like we didn't want Calvert-Lewin. He's shit. He's overrated. And we're seeing it. Yeah. I think he's got one goal for him or something.
Yeah. And the thing is, Dan, with Callum Wilson, right, the guy creates his own chances. Right? I know. Look, the service wasn't there with the 11 that was start. Look, if you put Callum Wilson in that starting 11 with take Paquetá out and put him in as the furthest forward player, he ain't going to get a lot with the system that we were set up with because the midfield wasn't good enough and the ridiculous choice at right back and left back. But the thing with Wilson, his movement. Yeah, and this is what we were alluding to with what you said about Traoré. If we were going to sign Traoré, even though his stats ain't good, he occupies defenders. Yeah, Wilson will occupy a defender. He will make the centre halves won't have a minute to sit there and like switch off, which is what a striker. You saw it when he came against Forest. The movement that he can make, opens up space. Not necessarily for himself, but would open up space for other players to go. You look at the amount of times Somerville burst forward with the ball and took on 3 or 4 players and had the beating of them. If you sit there and look at them defenders and then got a Callum Wilson to keep an eye on as well, it either they drift off and Callum Wilson is free for a pass, or it opens up more space for Somerville to run into or Bowen to run into. Yeah. So it's that not having a striker. You're not going to. Paquetá's always going to drop deep. Paquetá wants the ball. He doesn't want to be the furthest. He's not your focal point of the attack. So you've got to have a focal point. Even if you were to start Marshall, having a focal point, you've got to play higher up the pitch with Marshall because he's young. He's still learning his trade. But to do that, the experience that Wilson's got, it brings so many other players into the game. And that's the thing that we lack.
Yeah. No, 100%, mate. He has to play a striker. If he doesn't, he's absolutely mad. And I've said, look, I know how you feel about Nuno. And look, while I'm not where you are with it, I don't think it's not justified after that game. I'm just at the point where whatever happens, I'm just sticking with the geezer because I can't be asked for a manager out. Like if we go down, I'm sticking with him. At this moment, I might change my mind.
I'm not sitting here at the moment saying he's got to be sacked. Right? No. I'm not sitting there. As much as I think he was trying to get himself sacked on that game on Monday night, to be honest, I think he's walked into somewhere and thought, fuck me, what am I doing here? And he's trying. But listen, as I said, that's my opinion from what I've seen so far. I'm still open to give him a chance. Like I said, he can win me back on side. But my feelings after that defeat on Monday night and what he put out and what he did during the game, as I said, I do not know any other manager on this planet that would make the decisions that he made. And that's how I look at it. But said he's got time. Listen, if that was an experiment and it went wrong, and he holds his hands up and says, oh, listen, I really messed up there. I'm going to put it right. And he learnt about the players, because from that performance, you learnt that you don't play certain players out of position. You don't play Irvine, who, as much I feel really bad saying this, when he was on the ball, he weren't that bad, but it was just off the ball. He just offered nothing.
It just didn't really. It was just a non-entity in that game, to be honest with you.
And,
I didn't even notice him.
It'd be interesting to see what his pass completion, because he did knock the ball about quite quick. And there is a player there. I just don't think he's Premier League quality.
Dan,
if he went to the Championship, I think he'd be good enough.
Yeah, well, that's why we should keep him, mate, because we might need him down there. Aaron says, would you bring Mo Kante into the squad? I would, mate. I would bring him into the squad, because with the shit we've got in midfield, like, mate, he can't do any worse. And I think he's the profile. He's that physical dominance that we need in midfield. Yeah, he's going to be raw and rough around the edges. But I think in terms of the type of player he is, mate, I would bring him into the squad and give him some appearances off the bench.
Yeah, the thing is though, Dan, is when you look at the midfield, right? You got Souček, who's Souček and Ward-Prowse are the most experienced players there. Ward-Prowse is way out in the cold. He's the whatever happened to him and Nuno's obviously carried on here. But you got Souček's got the most experience in the Premier League out of that midfield, right? You look at everyone else; they're all young, apart from Rodriguez. Irvine's not that old, but inexperienced. Fernandes still quite young. Magassa still quite young, still trying to learn and adapt to the pace of the Premier League. Then you're going to look at bringing Potts, and then Kante. The problem is you've got a lot of inexperience there in that midfield, and you need experienced head around them. But the problem is your experienced head is one of the slowest players in the Premier League. And, I love Souček, but Souček shouldn't be starting.
This is the thing. I do think, and that's the thing. I do think we need experience in the midfield, and that's what we lack. But we haven't got quality experience. We need quality experience in there. And not so, listen, Souček back in the day, he's been a great servant for West Ham, but we're talking about now in this current 2025.
Yeah.
We need some serious quality. Someone with some legs. You don't have to be the quickest player, but you have someone that's quicker next to him, but is quicker and can read the game, has good passing range, all of that.
Listen, Dan, case in point, against Brentford, how good did Jordan Henderson look?
Yeah.
And I dislike Jordan Henderson, right? But how good did he look? Simple reason was we gave him time and space on the ball, and he had the right players around him. And this is the thing. You can have a player that hasn't got the legs, can't get around as pitch as much or as quick as certain other players if you balance the midfield and balance the team right. He was pinging passes for fun. He rolled back the years. He was playing like a 25-year-old. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because we allowed him to be. And that's the thing. You don't get the balance. You can carry a player who's Sunderland with
Xhaka.
What's his name? Xhaka. Not the quickest player, but valuable experience. Get him time on the ball, protect him, help him out in the other departments that might not be his strong points.
And do you know what they've got in Henderson and Xhaka? Leaders.
Yeah.
Both have captained at the highest level.
Yep.
So this is what we lack massively. So they was very shrewd signings for both of them. While I think Henderson's probably shouldn't be playing for England. For Brentford, that's a shrewd signing.
Yep.
When they had Ericsson, I think they signed Ericsson, didn't they? And he was good for them. So it's shrewd signings like that.
Yeah, it's balancing the midfield right, getting the right balance, getting enough players in there with an engine that you can afford to have an older, experienced player.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We bring in older, experienced players and play them all together, and then wonder why we get steamrolled in the midfield.
We get bang average, like older, experienced players. So Rich, West Ham £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Rich. Get Kai a Happy Meal or some sweets. Come on, you irons. Yeah, some troll. I had to put him on timeout. I had to put him on the naughty step because listen, you can come in here and say West Ham is shit. Don't phase us, but it's a spamming. Don't spam. Don't be a nuisance. You can banter, whatever. when you just keep spamming the same thing, it's just pathetic and annoying. So we ain't gonna tolerate it. So I just put him in timeout. But cheers, Rich. Hopefully he goes on the shop to get his sweeties. But yeah, hopefully he's not. He says, so I don't usually ban people outright to start with. I time them out, let them have a bit of a warning, and then hopefully they correct their behaviour, so we don't have to ban them. We've got a few suggestions from starting 11s here. The special one says Areola in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Diouf, Fernandez, Magassa, and Paqueta in the midfield, and then Bowen, Somerville, Souček up top. I'd rather him there than in midfield. I'd tell you that. Dobster, shout out to Dobster. I hope Leicester's doing well in the championship. I think they're in the playoffs positions at the moment. Fucking Millwall are third, by the way. Could you imagine? Inconceivable. Millwall come up and West Ham go down. Mate, that would be horrific. It could happen. Dolster says, Areola in goal. Thanks for Hermansen, by the way. You must be laughing your asses off. Record goalkeeper signing. Wan-Bissaka right back to Debo. Igor, centre backs. Diouf at left back. Fernandez, CM. Souček, CM. Paqueta, attacking midfield. And then Somerville, Bowen, Wilson. It's not bad. I don't know about the Souček one, but for a non-West Ham fan, it's not a bad call. Not a bad call, that, overall. Richard says, have you coached any junior teams before, Scott? Because you have you have so much smart tactical insight.
No, I've never done youth football. I've always done men's football.
Yeah. It's something about it's the youth football. They're usually smarter when it comes to tactics. That's what he said. And Randy says, Dan Scott, did you see Sky said we want 3 players in Jan? If that is to be believed, of course, centre back, striker, and midfielder specifically. Mate, I'll be so shocked if we get that. And then if we get it right, we need it. It's important. But are they going to sit there? If we're in this position, right? Are they going to look at it and go, are we going to bring in some quality to keep us up? Or are we going to be scared that, right, we bring in some quality players and that's more players we've got on the books if we go down that we've got to try and get off the books? And are they going to shit themselves?
The thing is,
it'll be loans or something.
Yeah, we can't. I think you're bringing in 3 players like that in them positions. They've got to be players that are workhorses, players that have got to try and, going to give you that work rate, because they ain't got to be the best players, because we've got there is some talent in our side. We know we've got some talent. We just need people that are going to work and going to concentrate. Yeah, if you're bringing in a centre-back, he hasn't got to be the best centre-back. He hasn't got to be the best passer of the ball. So long as he puts his head where it needs to be put, puts his body on the line and wins his tackles, like a Dawson type. I'm not saying bring Dawson back, but like a Dawson type, like a James Collins, that type of centre-half, alongside one of the ones that we've got, it will benefit. You know, as we were saying with Kilman, if his concentration levels ain't there and he switches off and stuff like that, having someone next to him that talks, and communicates the whole game. I watched a video the other day of John Terry coaching, right? And he showed the importance of our communication throughout the team. It benefits. And like you said, where you don't see them leaders. So to bring in 3 players, you've got to bring in the right 3 players who are going to work hard, who are going to install something different to what we've already got. So, fingers crossed that if we are looking at them, that's the type of players we're looking at bringing. We don't need no prima donnas. We don't need egos. And in a way, with Ivan Toney, he's a great goal scorer, but he is a bit of an ego. But if you're going to get an ego, you need a striker as an ego. Do you know what I mean? You need someone who's going to stand up and bang in goals and then go at the end of the season, well, you only stayed up because of me.
Yeah.
You that position, but you don't need that in the midfield and don't need that in the back.
No,
you need experienced, solid workhorses, and then maybe a bit of an ego up top.
Yeah. Steve, congratulations, mate, on getting married Saturday. He also asked about Preston Fearon. We see him once, and he looked really good, and we ain't seen him since.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to see him at some point. If Nuno will play him, that remains to be seen. Potts ain't even getting a look in.
Guilherme, that thing. Sorry, I know you're going on to the
Yeah,
next thing, mate, but
yeah,
Guilherme,
Killerman.
where's he gone?
Yeah. I know. I like Guilherme a lot. That's that pace we need. He's a good. If you're going to bring Somerville off, to rest him, get Guilherme on.
Yeah,
It's a like for like that makes sense. But yeah, David says Millwall doing all right. As much as it pays me to say, what do you reckon the score is if we come up against Millwall again? This team, mate, Millwall would roll us over. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, mate. But this team, look at our record in London derbies. They don't know what a London derby is. This lot, weak, absolutely weak. Wink. Yeah, honestly, but they are like so. I wouldn't fancy us as much as I hate to say it. Ten should sit behind the goal wearing that shirt and give our players something to aim at behind us to put them off. I might just take you on that.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that video of that team that didn't score for ages? So all the fans behind the goal had arrows.
Yeah,
they'd run up and down. That's what we need at the minute, mate. I tell you.
Yeah, we could do that. Shout out to Keith Fox, £10 super chat. Thank you very much, Keith.
Mate.
We appreciate you, my friend. Says they are saying we are skint, pleading poverty. I was just watching a podcast where they are saying Bowen will be gone next season, like Rice went as soon as we won in Europe. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me, mate. Listen, we don't have to sell because he's on a long-term contract. But if they want to sell, then he's sold, didn't it?
But not only that, though, mate. Is the problem is now you get into that situation if we're not competing in January and climbing up the table, and then not looking at the FA Cup to try and have a pop at it, what's Bowen's ambition? He's won a trophy at West Ham. He's still getting into the England squad, But what is his ambition as a player? And you can't. I don't want to see him go from West Ham, but at the moment,
he's better than this.
What attractive like asset do we have to make a player who's still young enough to go on and potentially win something stay? And this is this is what worries me. You look at teams like Bournemouth, Brighton; they're a more attractive prospect than West Ham at the moment.
Yeah, we are miles behind.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And if he does turn around at the end of the season and go, and wish him all the best, but we can't then sit there and complain about it because we've sort of dug our own grave with him. We've not been good enough. Again, we're not meeting the ambitions of the players. And from all accounts, he loves playing for West Ham.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's poor. And I look at it now. Jake points out that Forest are 2-0 up. This is our relegation rivals. They've got rid of that fucking I'm not a clown Ange, and now they're going to be looking a lot better.
Yep.
So it's worrying times. For sure, mate. I think we've got some real competition on our hands. Would you put Magassa in defence? I wouldn't at this stage. I don't think I would. I need to
too
see
experience more. For me in the Premier League.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Agreed. Yeah, it's for that position. Yeah. He's too young. He'll probably have moments where he'll switch off, not like a Kilman lazy bastard one, but you just. He needs more experience, like Scott said. How's the teaching going down? Yeah, I was there today, mate. It was getting ready. Everyone's making their thumbnails for their YouTube videos. So bloody Paddington, it's an absolute mission. So what did I say? Well, I'm teaching basically what we do on here every week, pretty much every day. This YouTube. So it's a good course in Paddington. So we're doing another lot in January. Scott, come and join the course.
Yeah.
Scott can start his own channel. We can get you set up Scott TV. Get Scott TV on the go. But yeah, so
I must admit though, Dan, where I was today would have made a good video.
Oh yeah, oh God, where were you today?
Yeah, in doing one of my normal Jobs. Yeah, that would have made an interesting video. That one, mate. Not for the faint-hearted. That would have been.
Yeah. No. I can imagine, mate. No one wants to see that. Well, I don't. I wouldn't watch it. Is there any kanji on the shirt? I don't believe there is, mate. I may have actually been learning to read kanji, but there's none on this shirt. Says I've got to cold wash it. It's cold wash 30 degrees.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
30 degrees. Yeah, that's what it comes with. It gives you instructions. Cold wash inside out. Do not machine wash. So wait, I've got to cold wash it, but not in a washing machine.
Hey,
What does that mean?
what was it? Cold wash.
Cold wash.
Yeah.
Inside out. Do not machine wash.
So you got to hand wash it.
I've got what cold? When it says cold, like in cold water.
Yeah.
How's that going to clean it?
Huh?
How is that going to clean it?
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Yeah, but like all the sweat and shit, like that's gonna. What if I spill? I'm not gonna eat curry while I'm wearing this, but what if I did spill curry on it?
You've got to do it old school, mate. You've got to go back old school. You've got to wash it how they used
I need
to
one
wash
in
it
washing
back in the day.
boards.
That's it.
I'm sure it'd be. Do you think it'd be all right? 30-degree washing machine. Do you think, or do you think it's risky? It's risky. It's 15 quid, mate. If I fuck it up, I'll get another one.
Put it on its own on a 20-degree wash with no spin.
Yeah. Low heat iron. I don't bother ironing football shirts. The crease, they don't get that crease. The creases drop out. I do not iron directly on embroidery. Well, that should be obvious, but there's always going to be some wally in there. Yeah. That's some old school. Scott, we need to know now, mucker. Is it going to get us demonetized?
No, so basically, right, this comment here, is part of my remit. This is actually what one of my teams actually are called, funny enough. And yeah, I have to be very careful because obviously there's people living in these properties that I'm working in, but let's just say it wasn't very nice. Certain things of I'm trying to put it out in right. So basically, some of the work that I do involves a lot of people who struggle living by themselves, and their houses get quite hoarded and full up, and sometimes they're quite messy. And today's one was one that's very, very messy.
Yeah. Life of Grime.
Life of Grime. They actually, when they done that, they actually approached our team, but you don't get no editorial rights, so we turned them down.
Oh, Scott, come on! You should have done that, mate. I would have loved to see you on that.
From my perspective, when you sit there and watch that, you can see why you need editorial rights because of certain things that they did. But yeah, so part of my stuff is to do everything you see on Life of Grime, I've done. So yeah, it's not like it's some of it's grim. Some of my job's great, but a lot of my job's quite grim.
Fair play to you, Scott. I couldn't do your job, mate. I couldn't do your job for sure, mate.
Mr. Trevis, right? Mr. Trevis.
Yeah, that was it.
I've done a lot of jobs like Mr. Trevis. A lot of jobs like
mate.
Mr. Trevis.
You could barely move for all the shit that he had.
Yeah,
it was he's a hoarder.
I did a job once where the people have died, so I know I can say this one, where they were literally, their bedroom had a leak. They had a leak from the bathroom going into the bedroom. The bedroom was under 5 inches of water constantly, so they then lived in the living room. They drunk wine, then used the wine bottles, ate chicken in boxes, and then used the chicken boxes. And you can imagine, because obviously the bathroom was leaking, they couldn't access the bathroom. So you can imagine what they were doing. So, yeah.
Oh, my God. Scott, mate. How do you do that? I'd be throwing up. I would be... Oh, God, mate, you got a strong constitution, I have to say.
Oh, massively. Massively.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like you just love to see all that like 5 for a grand. But you could do that. Like the thing is, if I weren't so weak when it comes to that sort of stuff, right? I would start the channel up and then I could give you the editorial rights and I would come and film it and all that stuff and we'd do a channel on it. But there's no way I'm following you around with a camera in that shit. I'd be there with the camera going, the fucking rats running at me and shit. Nah, mate. Nah.
Listen,
So,
I've got a lot of mate. The thing is, right? Because I do it. My old man did it as well before me, right? And the amount of stories that me and my old man could put together, it opens your eyes to a lot of things.
maybe, yeah, that could be one of the members' perks. Scott's stories. Scott's life of crime. Honestly, crazy. Because Scott sort out the shit on the street. That's too much crime. There's some things, there's some shit Scott can't clean up, mate. It's too much. It's worse than Mr. Trebus. But yeah, so listen, mate, great show. Great to have you back on.
Cheers, mate. Great to be back. I said I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted I couldn't be there for post-match pint.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Honestly.
I'm around, mate. I've got a lot going on at the minute, but I'll be around.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's hopefully. Yes, we'll see more of Scott, and we'll be back tomorrow for the watch along for the Leeds game. So that is going to be one to watch. Trust me, it's going to be a big one. So where's Nicky? He left. He didn't get to talk for 5 seconds, and he couldn't hack it. So he's like, oh no. He's like that me, where the kid's like, the veins are bulging out of his head if he don't talk every 2 seconds. So yeah, but great show. Thanks for all your comments. You're brilliant. And join us tomorrow, 7:30 for the watch along. We'll be here. So thank you for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.